What's up, party people? Just me today. Just me. All on my lonesome. Let's go ahead and get started with this workout first. So we are off in 3, 2, 1, getting it. All right, so first of all, what's the workout? We did this one actually a few weeks back. I'm trying to play catch up on a lot of these videos and get these done, since I know you guys really enjoy them. And they're fun for me to go back and watch and see things that I need to fix, or maybe I can't count correctly, or whatever the case may be. So anyways, I enjoy it. It's good for me. It's healthy to go back and watch it. And if you guys enjoy watching it, I'll keep doing it. So first of all, what's the workout? Geez, that's a good question, Jacob. What was the workout? The workout is pretty much 3 rounds of burpee box jump overs, overhead squats, and a yoke. It changed every round though. The first round, I believe, man, you know what, to be honest, like I don't even recall what it was. I'm an idiot. I know the burpee box jumps went down. I believe it was 20, 15, 10. That's what it was. All right, so sorry about that, guys. It's just a lot going on. So we went 20, 15, 10 of burpee box jump overs, 20, 15, 10 of overhead squats at 165, and then a 50-foot yoke walk with increasing weight. So my yoke by itself, unweighted, is about 200 pounds. The first yoke weight we used was around 560 pounds, and then we added 100 pounds each round. So the first round we did was 560. You'll see me go yoke from there. It's right behind me to the orange cone off the right-hand side of the screen, and then back. So the first round, I'm doing 20-20 walk it with 560 pounds. The next round, I'll be doing 15-15 walk it with 660 pounds, and I'm loading my own yoke. And the final round is 10-10, and I'm walking it 50 feet with 760 pounds. So I don't exactly know the heaviest yoke weight they've used at the games. I know the first time they used the yoke at the games, I was there a long time ago, and that's when we ran the stairs into the yoke. But at that time, that yoke was very, very light. The first time they used it, it was pretty dang light. I think it was like we had to go 25 meters or 25 yards with it. I think the heaviest they used at the games was last year, and I believe that was around 600 pounds, maybe 650 at most. But I don't think they've approached the 700 pound mark, or to be honest, the 760 pounds, which we're at now. We're almost approaching the 800 pound mark, which you'll see near the end of the video that it puts me in the dirt. So this one is, right now I'm picking up as 560 pounds. It's got a couple 45s loaded on it. It's not too difficult. You can move pretty quick with it. It's not super hard. So I'm sitting down. I think I got to tie my shoes at this point before I can actually turn around and go again. But going into this workout, how did I approach it, is a good question. Thanks for asking, guys, even though I'm asking myself because there's no one here in this room with me. I decided to do my burpee box jumps at a slow, controlled pace. My 20, I think I got done in a little over a minute. I don't exactly recall. I didn't look at the clock here. So a slow, controlled pace. I can usually do 15 or 16 burpees a minute and go for as long as I possibly need to at that rate. So slow, controlled pace. The goal is not to drop the bar. I believe it's 165 pounds. The goal is not to drop overhead squat bar, which for 20 wasn't bad. But when you get near the 15, the 10s, it starts to settle in. I think at this point in the workout, during the burpee box jump, it started to set in, like that yoke was heavy. We had done some stuff before this, and I think my back got really tight when it came to the overhead squats, and then especially as it transitioned into the yoke, which is what you'll see, because I mean, 660 pounds in the middle of a workout is really heavy, especially when you're trying to breathe heavy. And you have to brace yourself for a yoke, because you can't just mashed potato it and be like, you know, when you're doing a yoke, you're bracing. And so you can't, your breathing is really affected during that. And it's not normal breathing. You're almost like, and this could be wrong. I'm not a strong man. I'm not an expert at this, but you're not breathing correctly like you normally would. It's kind of like almost like a handstand walk when you breathe. Like you're almost bracing and like breathing in big gulps and then holding your breath kind of thing. And that's what I feel like when I'm doing on the yoke. And it might not be the most correct way, but when it's less, when it's like 300, 400, 500 pounds, you can somehow breathe when you go and it's fairly easy. But when it's 660 pounds or 760 pounds, it's really difficult to breathe correctly and to make sure, you're not passing out in the middle of it. So right now I'm currently on my 15 overhead squats, which I'm pretty sure I was capable of doing all my overhead squats unbroken. Of course, I'm resting a lot between these movements, and that's something that I've talked about in other videos, and it's something we've been working on to make sure I'm not doing. It's difficult to transition between these movements. I know right now my legs are just blown from the fact of the yoke is still somewhat heavy in all these overhead squats, and I'm probably feeling bad for myself. But I think what also is in the back of my head is I might be resting a little more than necessary, but the fact of the matter is I'm trying to get all these overhead squats done unbroken. So I guess if I was told, okay, Jake, it's okay doing 3 sets of 5 for the overhead squats, I might actually drop the overhead squats. I can drop them every set of 5 to 15. Then I might actually be able to grab the bar faster, right? If I know I'm only going to 5, right? So if I told you to break something in a certain way, you might be okay grabbing the bar faster because I have to do 5. But if I told you need to do this whole thing unbroken, you need to do all 15, then you might take a little more time, put your knee sleeves on, really catch that breath and know, okay, I'm capable of doing this 15, let's get it. And so kind of the goal going into this season is to transition faster, even though you should be going unbroken, is not to really take that much time knowing I'm going to go unbroken. So this is 660 pounds right now, and I'm still moving at a pretty good pace for the fact that that's heavy as or heavier than any yoke in the games. I've never had an issue with yokes. We bought one many years ago, and it's a great tool to use for, yoke walks like this, but also for like front rack holds, overhead holds. It's a really cool tool. It's just kind of a pain to set up, because it's usually stuck in a corner somewhere. All right, so that's round 2. I am now going on to load this thing with more sets of 25s, 100 pounds for 25 on each yoke. Each position of the yoke, so 4 spots, and then we're going to go jump on and do 10 and 10 and then back to the yoke. Let's see, we talked about my pace for that, my pace for overhead squats. For the yoke, really there's no pace for it. You just have to... The goal is if you're going to we broke it up in 50 foot, so we broke it up in 225 foot increments. My goal was if you're going to pick it up for 25, you should be able to pick it up and walk the whole thing for 25, not to break the 15, the 10 foot mark, because if you break a yoke, it takes a little bit out of you, because usually you broke it for some reason, right? Unless it's like a stupid error, like you tripped. Usually you broke it for 2 specific reasons. Either one, your midline is completely gone and you're trying to get that back. And you're going to take a lot of time breathing and making sure your back is feeling okay and your midline's okay, or it's swinging too much, right? And so a lot of people, the swinging of the yoke when it goes back and forth, so for instance, like Jake Flowen who trains with us, isn't great with yokes, and we're trying to coach him up on it, is there's really a couple reasons why it might possibly be swinging forward and back a lot. Obviously, the yoke's not going to swing side to side. That would be really hard unless you have a weird gait. It's going to swing forward and back a lot. And so to really inhibit that is one thing that really helps is the height of the yoke. You don't want the yoke so low that, when you pick it up, it's got like a foot of clearance off the ground. If that's too much. And plus, you're going to have to do a quarter squat every time you pick it up, and it's a little more difficult, right? The optimal height, I think, and again, this is my opinion off the ground, is you want enough where if it's gonna wiggle a little bit, right? It's gonna go back and forth a little bit, but you don't want it so little, the clearance between the yoke and the ground, that when it does rotate back and forth, the lip of the front catches it every time. You don't want that. I saw guys do that, I think at the games many years ago, and in subsequent years I've seen that also, where they'll have it so low to the ground because they don't want to squat more than they have to, that the lip in the front will catch, and if it catches, then it jolts you, and then you're it's falling backwards on itself. So usually, like going back to that statement, the optimal height I think is whatever this is, 6 inches. I don't think you need any more than that. And so lucky for me, Andrew and I are the same height, so we use the same yoke height, but when Jake does it, we have to change it, lower it down for him. So that's one thing that'll really help the yoke swinging back and forth. Here's 760 pounds, and I did not make it the whole way, so I have to pick it up and go another 5 feet, which this right here, if you look at it, is a huge waste of time, right? The goal would be to go to 25. Now, I think I broke here because it was so stinking heavy. It was just difficult to move. And it just sucks because, I rested just to move it another 4 feet. That's just a waste of time overall. Another good way of inhibiting the yoke from rotating forward and back is your hand placement, right? If you watch, it might be a little bit difficult to see it in this video, but if you watch my hand placement, if you look at the yoke, it's got these little triangle braces in the side, right? Can I even do a triangle? Triangle. It's got these braces in the side like a triangle, and that's exactly where I place my hands. They're on the triangle, and I can kind of inhibit it from going forward and back by placing pressure and pushing it forward and keeping it there. And so if you put your hands instead, I hurt my back. If you put your hands instead on the actual yoke and really close to your body, like you're doing a back squat, you don't have that like surface area connection with the yoke where you can push it forward and keep it from rotating, right? If it's just here, it's just on a smooth part and it might rotate through your hands and you're not gonna be able to stop it. So I've seen a lot of guys also put their hands on the outsides of the yoke. I mean, that's probably something similar, totally up to personal preference, but that's where I like to keep them. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed watching. Those are my kind of thoughts on this workout, my tips when it comes to yoke, how I approach a workout like that, and the fact that stay away from a 760-pound yoke. That just put me in the dirt. That ruined my CNS for the day. It would be cool to do a 1,000-pound yoke though. That'd be pretty sick. Anyways, hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching. Talk to you guys later.